This is a Thursday devotion from Tryon, North Carolina. Titled this devotion, I Want It. We live in an I want it society, an I want it world. Everybody wants everything, and everybody wants it now. I remember doing this devotion a number of years ago based on Luke 12. And I remember leading in with a joke. The joke was, I heard she married him because he inherited $1 million from his uncle. And the other person said, that's not fair. She would have married him no matter who he inherited it from. Well, in Luke chapter 12, verse 15, it says, beware and be on guard against every form of greed, for not even when one has an abundance does life consist of his possessions. Life doesn't consist of possessions. It's nice to have nice things. It's nice to be able to have things that are needs and wants. But life doesn't consist of possessions. And Jesus told a parable at the very time that he was dealing with this whole issue. And the parable was of a rich man with his barns full and another crop coming in. Well, the barns were already full and there was no room for the other crops. So the rich man said, I know what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. And then I can say to my soul, relax and enjoy life, because I have much laid up for you. And Jesus used a word that he tells us not to use very often. As a matter of fact, he doesn't want us to use it. He says, fool. Fool. Tonight your soul will be required of you, and who will own all that you have? Yes, we got to be careful. We've got to be very, very careful about greed, about coveting. Now, there's two forms of this kind of hypocrisy of coveting. One is wishing that you had what somebody else has, coveting it. And the other one is being so tight-fisted that you'll not take what you have, especially when it's in abundance, and share with someone else. It's really an interesting thing, craving something that belongs to someone else versus a reluctance to dispense and have somebody else have use of what you have an abundance of. The evils of greed are terrible. We see them all through the scriptures, and not just in material things. We see David, who wanted Bathsheba. He had a carnal heart. We see Eli's sons, who were taking what was given for an offering and using it for themselves. They had evil hearts. We had the rich young ruler who came to Jesus and said, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Jesus said, sell all you have. And he had a stubborn heart. And then we have Lot. When Abraham and he got to a certain point where their herds were too large for the area that they were in, and Lot said, choose the land that you want and I'll go in the opposite direction. And Lot chose the very best for himself. He had a selfish heart. Yes, one of the 10 commandments is, thou shalt not covet. God does have something that he wants us to covet. And it would be worthwhile for all of us to covet that. But not just to covet, but to try to obtain it. Are you saying, what are they? Godlikeness and a content heart. You see, if you had godlikeness, you'd already have a content heart. But that's something we could want, something we could strive for. It's sure a lot better than greed or selfishness. That's all hypocrisy. And Jesus was very, very strong about that. He said life doesn't consist of our possessions. He said beware of all forms of greed. So we should. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.